A journalist went undercover with a Disney executive. His name is Michael Giordano, senior vice president, and asked him about anti-white discrimination at Disney. He did not know that he was being recorded, but we have a video of what he said. Take a look.
Certainly, there have been times where, there's no way we're hiring a white male person.
Just kind of unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken, but
How would they say it?
there's no way we're hiring a white male person. I've been at the company 11 years now, so I have friends in HR and I have friends in those divisions, and they're like, look, nobody else is going to tell you this, Mike, but they're not considering any white males for the shop. They're just not. We wanted to hire somebody in the department a few years ago now, who was half black, but didn't appear half black. And there was a creative executive who was like, we're not, that's not what's wrong. I'm guessing that there's acceptable code words and buzzwords that are used to explain what they're looking for. They might say something like, look, we're not looking at the usual suspects for this job. So it's not a legally actionable thing, but everybody knows what it means. I would guess that 30 to 35% of our top writers are going to be, gay, and so I think a lot of them lean into trans stories more than the average straight writer would.
Can we say we're surprised at this point? Also, what he says there about gay people at the very end, writing stories to be more gay, he doesn't doubt that a gay person would write a more gay story than a straight person, is absolutely correct. And we're seeing it right now with Star Wars. So I've never talked about this on the show, but I talk a lot about politics. But what I haven't talked about is that I'm a huge Star Wars fan as well. And obviously there's a show that's been out there that's getting a lot of contention. It's very controversial, called The Acolyte, which I haven't talked about until now. But this new show has gotten so much hate, and rightfully so. Let's just say it is the gay dumpster fire of Star Wars content. If you thought the sequels were bad, the sequels didn't have gay content in it, thank goodness, but the sequels were just awful pieces of entertainment, if you can call it that anyway. But that was just a dumpster fire. This is the gay dumpster fire of Star Wars content. It has absolutely everything. They have pronouns, they have they go by they, she, or whatever, I don't even know. Lesbian moms, gay Jedis. The lead actress and the director are both lesbian and said R2-D2 is a lesbian. And here's the thing, I'm fine with lesbian directors as well, but just leave that part out of it. That's how conservatives think. I think the left has this perception that conservatives are out here just hating on lesbians. We just hate lesbians. It's no, we just don't think about lesbians, and we don't want to think about lesbians all the time. So just leave it out. If you want to be a lesbian and be a Star Wars director, absolutely. Just stay to what George Lucas wanted Star Wars to be. If you want to play around a little bit, it's fine. I understand as a director you can't follow everyone completely, but no, you don't need to make R2-D2 lesbian.
I think it's canon that R2-D2 is a lesbian.
So the sequels are not canon, and R2-D2 being gay is not canon either. Anyways, it's easy to see that what this Disney executive is saying is actually happening in Disney. I think this interview, as well as The Acolyte coming out at the same time, even though The Acolyte, it hasn't had racial problems in the same way that it's been talking about LGBTQ issues, and then obviously this video was more about racial things, but it's a good demonstration of not only are the management talking about it, but it's actually getting done. They're making all the actors gay. They're making them all people of color, which, by the way, like I said, I don't care. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're black. Just cast good actors. Just cast good actors. Don't put quotas in there. And definitely, it's illegal to say that you're not going to hire white people. Anyone being discriminated against in such an open and blatant way has to sue the crap out of the company that's doing it. That's the bottom line. That's the most important thing with this. And this is what conservatives are getting better at. An example of something like this is the boycotts with Bud Light and Target. Conservatives have to fight back, and they have to use legal methods. And fortunately, for the most part, our justice system does a pretty good job. Obviously, Donald Trump being convicted recently is an exception. But even with that, there's a really high likelihood that when he appeals it, it's going to go away. Will it happen before the election? No, it probably won't. So it's still going to be ridiculous, sure. But I'm just saying that in the long run, I think this is a very effective strategy for conservatives to go after those woke companies. Don't just see it and be outraged by it. If it's affecting you, go out and sue the crap out of them, because it's the only way that we can fight back. I guess the other way as well is starting media companies, which is what people are out doing. So definitely supporting them as well is a move. But the left will very often accuse the right of being the hateful side. I'll end with this. This is the perfect example of how the left is hateful and discriminatory. It's not the right. The right just doesn't care. The average person, we just don't care. We don't care if the director of the Acolyte is gay. But what we do care about is when you specifically look in the camera and say, yeah, we can't hire white people. That's hateful. It's discriminatory. That is the left. It takes about 2 seconds of talking to a leftist to realize that they hate white men with everything they have. It is their whole ideology. It is the identity of a lot of them. That's why you see people screaming at the sky when Donald Trump gets elected. Hopefully we'll see more of that in November. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please go down below, comment, like, and subscribe, and watch another video.